name is Scott Waters. Welcome to Life to Metal. It's time for the top 30 of 2016. Was going to do a top 20, then I was going to do a top 25, ended up getting to a top 30. I could have done a top 50 or a top 60, no problem this year. There was really just a ton of great metal and hard rock released this year, and so I condensed it down to 30. I'm going to try and keep this down to about a 30-minute video, so I got to get going. I'm just going to start right off with number 30, which is actually what's playing in the background. This is THEOCRACY, Ghost Ship. U.S. power metal band whose sound is extremely influenced by the European power metal band, power metal sound. Just a great release from them. This is, I think, is their 4th album. I've never was a huge fan of this band. I had their first album. I still have it. It didn't blow me away, so I didn't really look any further. Someone suggested picking this one up, so I got a CD of it in the mail. Man, I was just blown away by how good it is. It's power metal, but it's not overly driven by keyboards. It's not, you know, it's got some double bass, but it's not like double bass throughout. It's actually a very good record. Has a lot of dynamics to the sound. Great vocals, great melodies, great harmonies, and very memorable. Very good album from THEOCRACY, coming in at number 30 for 2016. Next up, we've got one that was not released on vinyl. This is Pylon, Rox Records release. This is a lament, straightforward doom. Traditional doom. This, I think it's like their 6th, 7th, 8th record. I can't remember exactly what it is. But they are from Switzerland. And I always want to say Sweden. I don't know why. But they're from Switzerland. Just fantastic, straightforward, traditional doom. Just an album I really enjoy. You know, if you like, like the first Candlemass, or if you like, I'm trying to think of who else they kind of would sound like. St. Vitus. Perhaps Place of Skulls or Pentagram, that kind of traditional doom metal. That's what you're going to get with Pylon and Element. Coming in at number 28, this is U.S. heavy metal band October 31, and this is Metal Massacre 31, which is a tribute record, all cover songs. But it's all cover songs of bands most people wouldn't be real familiar with. So you're not going to hear your, you know, the Metallica or Slayer or all those bands that you might expect on a Metal Massacre tribute. Instead, you've got great things like Death Dealer, Omen, Titanic, Demon Flight, Dead of the Night, great song, one of my favorite on here. Hallows Eve with Metal Merchant, Armageddon with Tyrant. Just a great album from October 31st. Of course, King Fally of Deceased fame, and on vocals. And then, of course, you've got the Shred Master, Brian Hellstar Williams, whose photo is right there, on guitar. Great band. I really love October 31st. As far as I know, this one's only available on CD. If it becomes available on vinyl, I'll be picking it up. Number 27. One of my favorite thrash metal bands from the 80s is Artillery. This being their Death by Deception album. It is available on vinyl. I only have the CD. I was actually kind of surprised by this one. I picked this one up at Hastings when they were going out of business for really cheap. Popped it in my CD player, started listening to it, and I was kind of shocked because they have that distinct sound in the guitar playing. So you've got the brothers, I think they're brothers, Morton and Michael Sutzer on guitars, and you kind of get that classic thrash metal sound that you would expect from Artillery. But then the vocals by Michael Dahl are just like in sharp contrast to the thrashiness of the music, and it makes them almost have a power metal sound, a European power metal sound. Really, really good record from them. Very different from their early material, but still a very good album. So Artillery coming in at number 27. Coming in at number 26, U.S. new wave of traditional heavy metal band. This is Holy Grail. This being, I believe, their 3rd album. This band made up of some ex-members of the U.S. new wave of traditional heavy metal band White Wizard. Their sound is somewhat similar. It's just straightforward heavy metal, and it's very good stuff. Catchy, great production, heavy riffs. You get the galloping riffs, you got the pounding rhythm section, the clean vocals. This is everything you want to hear from a heavy metal band, traditional heavy metal band, you get with Holy Grail. And I honestly think that Times of Pride and Peril is probably one of their best albums. I still tend to like their first album the best, but this album is very good and definitely worth being in the top 30. Coming in at number 25, from Sweden, Gehenna. This band's been around for a while. This album was actually sent to me as a gift from a friend, Ruby, in Portugal, and I really didn't pay much attention to this band, didn't know much about them, but man, this is a great record. There's a hype sticker on this record, and it's such a true hype sticker. It's not just hype, it's for real. Dirtier than Motorhead, darker than Venom, thirstier than Tankard. That's exactly what you get here. You kind of get that mixture. Motorhead, Venom, Tankard, it's all in there. It's very aggressive, heavy metal, big new wave of British heavy metal influence. You hear a ton of that Motorhead and Venom sound in here, but you get some of the speed and the aggression of Tankard and thrash metal. So, great record from Gehenna. Too Loud to Live, Too Drunk to Die. Number 24. This 2016 was a great year for thrash metal. So many great thrash metal releases. I couldn't actually even include them all. There was just so many good ones. But this one had to be in there. The music is just so driving. This is one that you play when you're going down the road and your pedal's got to go to the metal. This is EXUMER, The Raging Tides. Honestly, there's just so much good thrash metal. This one actually could have been higher. Any other given year, this would have been up in my top 10. But there's just so many albums I loved. It was hard to drop this one down to where it was, actually. Great band from Germany. Been around since the 80s, broke up for a while, reformed, been putting out good music ever since. This is one of their best. The riffs are just fantastic. Everything you want to hear in thrash metal, you're gonna get here. You get that manic down picking, you get the quick, machine gun riffing, you get just the crazy guitar solos, the speed, the intensity, the punk fury. All that's here. Coming in at number 23, this band was on my list last year too, much higher in the list. This year it Stars That Move, U.S. stoner rock doom band with female vocals. This being their second album. The last one was on Stone Groove Records. This one is on Twin Earth Records, available through Stone Groove Records. They do a really cool ZZ Top cover. Usually when bands do ZZ Top covers, it's kind of the older, more bluesy stuff from their first 3, 4, 5 records. They do TV dinners, and you're like, oh man, that's kind of a lame poppy song. Not on here, man. They just made it their own. It's such a killer cover. It's one of the songs that actually made the record for me. But there's just not a bad song on here. The Devil's Fountain, Watchtower, Castles, Burning Village. Just a very good doom record. Second doom record in my list this year already. Stars That Move. This one's only available on CD at the moment. Hopefully within the coming year it'll be available on vinyl like their last album was. Coming at number 22, Canadian heavy metal band, Anvil. Anvil is Anvil. And that title says it all. Anvil is Anvil. What does that mean? That sounds stupid. Well, it's just them proclaiming that they are what they are. They're not changing for anybody. They do what they do best, and that's what you're going to get here. A lot of people didn't like the first song in here, Daggers and Rum. Kind of has that Running Wild pirate theme thing going on. I love that song. I think it's a great song. Up, Down, Sideways is a great song. Runaway Train, Zombie Apocalypse. Ambushed, Fire on the Highway. Never Going to Stop. There's just not, there's just so many great songs on here. Honestly, this would have been a lot higher on my list if not for 2 songs. I really felt that Die for a Lie and Gun Control were weak songs musically and lyrically. But other than that, this is just a solid Anvil album. If you like Anvil, there's no reason you wouldn't like this Anvil album. Anvil is Anvil. Number 22 in 2016. All right, coming in number 21. Kind of cheated here a little bit. It's just going to be a 2 for 1. And there's a reason for that. We've got Punky Meadows and Frank Domino each with a solo album this year. Both former Angel members. Both featuring some former Angel members on their albums. Punky Meadows has Felix Robinson playing bass on a lot of this. And Frank Domino's album, if I had to choose one or the other, I'd take Frank Domino's album by a hair over Punky Meadows' album. I think they're both great. Both straightforward rock, kind of a Zeppelin-ish, almost a UFO-ish vibe on the Domino album. Great guitar work on this Domino record. You think, Domino was the vocalist, but he's got, let's see if there should be a photo in here. Let's see if I can find it real quick while I'm talking. There we go. So you got Oz Fox of Striper fame doing a lot of the guitar work, and Oz Fox is just a fantastic guitar player. And then you also get Paul Crook, known for his work with Anthrax, on doing a lot of the guitar work as well. They both do about the same amount of guitar work, rhythm and lead work on this album. Now on the Punky Meadows album, Punky Meadows is the guy who does all the guitar work. And you know, here's a 70s guitar hero, but man, he brings it here. There is actually a instrumental on here, which the name is escaping me right now, but it gives Punky a chance to shine. But overall, this is just a solid hard rock record, big 70s vibe, but not the same glammy, poppy vibe you got from Angel. This is much more straightforward hard rock. Punky Meadows, Fallen Angel, and Frank Domino, Old Habits Die Hard. Alright, coming in at number 20, down to the 20, Bat, Wings of Change. Very cool black and white cover art. This band is made up of a couple members of Municipal Waste and I'm going to forget his name now. Felix, I write it down. Of course not. Felix Griffin of DRI fame. This is definitely Venom worship. You're going to hear Venom, you're going to hear a little Motorhead, very raw, new wave of traditional heavy metal, but not in the same vein as, you know, a lot of these bands like Holy Grail that I showed earlier, or Enforcer, or bands like that. You know, this band is more raw. Their sound is more like Motorhead and Venom, you know, has that kind of punk ethic, but you also get the metal edge. Just a great record, memorable songs, great guitar playing, and just an overall great album. Coming in at number 19, another rock band, hard rock band. This is a band from the 70s who put out one of their best albums that they put out in a couple decades. This is Cheap Trick, Bang Zoom Crazy Hello. Super infectious album. If you like those first 3, 4, 5 Cheap Trick albums, this album will be in your wheelhouse. I mean, it has the poppy edge that Cheap Trick have always had. The, you know, the sweet, clean vocals of Robin Zander and the guitar antics of Rick Nielsen. This is the first album to not feature Bunny Carlos on drums. Instead, we get Rick Nielsen's son, Dax Nielsen, on drums. But there's just something about this. This is a rejuvenated Cheap Trick. Honestly, think this is one of the best albums they put out in a long time. Available on CD and vinyl. Well worth picking up if you're even remotely a Cheap Trick fan. You won't be disappointed. Made number 19 in my list. Coming at number 18, Arizona-based power metal, thrash metal band, self-titled album from Flotsam and Jetsam. This one squeaked in for me at the very end of the year. I picked it up and was actually blown away by how good this album is. You've got your thrashy elements on here, you've got your more straightforward heavy metal on here, you got some more modern elements, but mostly this is just solid heavy metal from Flotsam and Jetsam. These guys have been putting out good material over the last few years. Can't complain at all about this one, other than I don't have it on vinyl. I have it on CD, looking forward to picking up the vinyl eventually. The little tag sticker on here says the self-titled release after 3 decades as recording artist holds the essence of what the band is all about, a pure masterpiece. And I would agree, it's a really good album. Is it better than their first album, their second album, you know, the Doomsday for the Deceiver? Those albums were just classics. Hard to overcome nostalgia, but I honestly think they did a great job on this record, and it would rank up there with those albums. Flotsam and Jetsam, self-titled release for 2016. Coming in at number 17, a comeback album from UK new wave of British heavy metal band Grim Reaper. This is Walking in the Shadows. This is a fantastic album. I mean, this sounds like it could have been recorded in 1988, could have been the 4th album for Grim Reaper, and been one of their best. And Steve Grimman on vocals sounds as good as he ever has. This is straightforward heavy metal as I love it. Honestly, I think that this is one of the best albums, straightforward heavy metal albums of the year. I just recently picked this one up just this week. So coming in so high is a bit surprising for me, but I just liked it that much, and I've only had a chance to hear it twice. Maybe if I had a chance to live with it more, it might have been higher on the list. It's that good. If you like the old Grim Reaper, highly recommend checking out Steve Grimmett's Grim Reaper, Walking in the Shadows from 2016. Number 15, a Canadian new wave of traditional heavy metal band. This is Cauldron. This is In Ruin. This is just one of the best albums that they've released yet. I mean, there's just not a bad song on here. Heavy riffs, manic drumming, memorable songs. These guys found the perfect mix. You know, it's still straightforward heavy metal. They're not poppy sounding. You know, they're not going for that glam metal sound, but they managed to bring in the hooks along with the heavy riffs and the guitar solos and the screaming vocals and everything you want to hear in a heavy metal band. Fantastic album from Cauldron. Makes me want to get the rest of their catalog that I don't have yet. It's just that good. Had this come out in 1984, 85, guarantee these guys would have been as big as, you know, bands like Judas Priest and Iron Maiden. It is really that good. Coming in number 15, California heavy metal band Primal. This is a band featuring 2 ex-members of Hyrax, including their drummer, George, and guitarist Glenn Rogers. Glenn being formerly of Deliverance, Vengeance, Hyrax, Heretic, among other bands. He's in a new band called Final Decree, but regardless, this album was recorded in 2016. You can hear that riff master style that Glenn brings in here. He wrote about half the songs on here, and you can tell which songs are his because those songs have almost a thrashy edge to them, but the vocals offset it. Former V8 singer, whose name I knew I was going to butcher, so I wrote it down, Alberto Zamarbide, has a very unique style. You can hear him playing in the background. His voice offsets the heavy riffs of the album. It's just not a bad song on here. Some of my favorites on here are The Gates, Wisdom, Demolition, Borderline. There's also a V8 cover on here. It's in Spanish, so I'm probably going to butcher it, but it's Cuativos del Sistema. And that is a cover of a V8 song. Otherwise, this is just all originals. Fantastic, straightforward heavy metal from California band Primal. Number 14, another California band. This is Anger as Art. I told you that 2016 was a fantastic year for thrash, and here's an example of that. Of course, Anger as Art is the band featuring Steve Gaines, formerly of Avatar and Bloodlust, among others. Steve Gaines is actually also the brother of Stryper bassist Tim Gaines. However, this has nothing to do with Stryper. The music here is heavy, aggressive, thrash metal, a bit of a modern edge, especially in the recording, but just straightforward thrash metal. Great guitar solos, great riffs, memorable songs. This is one that just was stuck in my CD player for literally months upon purchasing this. Another one of those albums that if you're not careful, you'll get a speeding ticket because you'll put the pedal to the metal, and you got to be careful because it's some headbanging stuff. Anyhow, great record from Anger as Art, straightforward thrash metal for 2016. Coming in number 13, this is a solo project from Stryper guitarist, vocalist Michael Sweets, and in my opinion, this is the best solo album he has released to date. His past catalog of solo records I like. None of them were, to me, as good as any of his work with Stryper. This album ranks up with the best of Stryper in my opinion. Heavy riffs. This is mostly heavy metal. There are some modern vibes on here and there, but mostly this is just heavy metal. Great songwriting, memorable hooks, great guitar solos. Matter of fact, the guitar solos are just shred. Shred is not dead. You're going to hear that on here. It's fantastic stuff. Michael's not the lead guitar player on here. I forget the name of the guitar player off the top of my head, but regardless, check it out. Michael Sweets, One-Sided War. There is a couple videos on YouTube as well. Probably my least favorite song in here is the first single, which is Radio, which is kind of a song somewhat mocking the rockers who have tried to move into the country platform to gain, you know, popularity again. But even that song I like. It's just not one of my favorites on here. Songs like Bizarre, One-Sided War, Golden Age, Comfort Zone. This is just a fantastic album. Highly recommended if you're a fan of Stryper or just a fan of good, solid guitar playing and heavy metal. Coming in at number 12, this is New Jersey band formed in 1989. This is their latest album, Sleepy Hollow. Tales of Gods and Monsters. Man, this is epic heavy metal. Just fantastic stuff. I'd put this in the same category as I'd put like Manila Road or Cirith Ungol. Kind of has that vibe to it. Very heavy riffs, but it's not thrash in the slightest. This is heavy metal. It's not power metal either. So it's kind of hard to explain. It just has that kind of vibe. I can't even tell you how many times I played this year. The thing just grabbed me by the throat and, you know, just kept me there. I mean, it's just like that. Epic heavy metal from Sleepy Hollow. Highly recommended album from 2016. Coming in at number 12. Number 11. Sweden heavy metal band. This is one of the bands that sustained me through much of the 90s and into the 2000s. This is Hammerfall. This is Built to Last. Wow, great album from them. Of course, I am a Hammerfall fanatic. They really haven't released an album that I thought was bad. My favorite albums are still the early albums. Renegade is brilliant. But this album, I gotta admit, it's been in my car playing over and over and over again, and it's still playing in my car over and over and over again. Matter of fact, the only reason it's left my car was to bring it in to do this video. If you're a fan of that, you know, of Hammerfall's European power metal sound, you know, to me, Hammerfall never really fit into that mold of European power metal. They're not all Dungeons and Dragons. They're not keyboard laced. It's not all about the double bass. To me, Hammerfall just great heavy metal, and that's what you're going to get on here. Of course, Hammerfall always have the one or two ballads on the album, and you get that same thing on here with Twilight Princess. But otherwise, this is just all heavy metal, and definitely deserving of being in my top 20. Almost made my top 10. Squeaked out by one record at number 11. Number 10 comes an album from a band who haven't released anything since the 80s. This is only their third album. They released 2 albums in the 80s. This is Philadelphia Warlord. Somehow these guys got back together by some miracle. They took some of the old songs that they had planned for recording on their third album, and they finally got them recorded, as well as some newer material. This is just a great album from Philadelphia. Just nothing bad to say about it. However, if you are expecting 80s style heavy metal, this is a bit more melodic, a bit more on the hard rock side of things. Does have its metal edge, does have great hooks, great guitar solos. It's got that kind of, you know, metal guitar tone, but a lot of this stuff is very melodic. I'd probably call it melodic metal. Not quite as raw and heavy as some of their early 2 albums. But I just totally love this record. Played it over and over and over again, and I still revisit it. This is on Rox Records, and this is number 10 in the top 10 of 2016. Warlord from Philadelphia. Coming in number 9, another Canadian new wave of traditional heavy metal band. This is Striker. I like Striker. I have all their albums, but this one, I think the band finally found the perfect blend of commercial hooks and true metal. They're not poppy, but they have the hooks. Kind of like early Skid Row. You know, they have the aggression, they have the metal hooks, the metal riffs, great guitar solos, great vocals, but they also have those hooks that make you want to hear the song over and over again, make you want to sing along to the choruses, make you want to pump your fists in the air. Metal! That's what it's all about. Striker, Stand in the Fire, number 9 in the top 10 of 2016. Number 8 is a fantastic record from a band whose lead vocalist belongs in the upper echelons of heavy metal singers, up there with Halford, Dickinson, and Dio. Hellstar. James Rivera, one of my favorite vocalists in metal. The guy has a unique sound, a charisma, screams like a banshee, and that's exactly what you're going to get in here. They push the edge of American power metal, sometimes going into the thrash metal territory, but mostly pulling back into the heavy metal and US power metal sound. This is just a fantastic album. Starts off solid, gets better with each and every song. By the time you get to Off With Your Head, guaranteed you'll be headbanging. It's just that good. The riffs are just there. The vocals are fantastic. The songwriting is there. Probably one of the best albums from Hellstar since the 80s. Hard to say because they've not really released a bad album in my opinion. But Vampiro coming in at number 8 for 2016. Coming in at number 7, this is California thrash metal band, and as I told you, 2016 was a killer year for thrash. 2016 could even be called the year of thrash. This band has been around since the 80s, but their last 2 albums have just been some of the best they've released yet. This is Death Angel, and this is The Evil Divide. Fantastic artwork, goes with a fantastic album. You get everything you want to hear from Death Angel on here. Great vocals, you get that tight machine gun riffing, you get the headbanging songwriting that makes you just want to listen over and over again, which it did for me. Just not a bad song on here. This and The Dream Calls for Blood, their last album, some of the best stuff they've released, in my opinion. Definitely worthy of being in my top 10, and could have been much higher on the list. I just like it that much, which should tell you how much I enjoy the albums that are above this one. This one easily could have been at my number 1. Death Angel, The Evil Divide, coming in at number 7 for 2016. Number 6, is a comeback album, in my opinion. This band, not that they broke up or anything, but this album definitely was an improvement over the last album. This is Megadeth and Dystopia. Love this record. This album came out earlier in the year. I'm still playing this thing over and over again. I just think it's that good. But Mustaine is coming up with some of his best riffs in a long time. Songs like the title track and The Threat Is Real. That's what I want to hear from Megadeth. You know, you get that Mustaine style guitar riffing, which I can't even put into words, but it's got that aggression and he's got that snarly vocals. You still get the memorable songs, you get the hooks that Megadeth have always given you, but you get a bit more of the aggression that was missing from the last album, better riffing than you got from the last album. I think that Megadeth Dystopia could have easily been at my #1 slot. However, it comes in at number 6. Megadeth Dystopia 2016. The top 5, coming in at number 5. This one overtook Megadeth by a hair, but I couldn't put it at number 6 because it's just that good. Metal Church, XI. Wow, what a return from Metal Church. I mean, you get the return of Mike Howe on vocals again, and it sounds like he never left. I mean, this could have been released right after the Human Factor. It's that good. The songs are fantastic. You get the fist-pumping metal, you get the headbanging riffs, you get the fantastic production, killer vocals. Mike Howe sounds like he never stopped singing. I absolutely love this record. I'm a self-proclaimed, professed Metal Church fanatic, but honestly, this album is one of the best that they've released in a decade or more. If you like the Human Factor, if you like anything by early Metal Church, check out XI. Metal Church coming in at number 5. Coming in at number 4, another thrash metal band. This one coming from Germany. This band I think should have been in the upper echelons of German thrash metal, along with Creator and Destruction and Sodom and Tankard. This is ACCUSER. This is the Forlorn Divide. If you are a fan of thrash metal and you don't own this record, you're doing yourself a disservice. These guys know how to write heavy, heavy riffs. Not death metal, thrash metal. A bit of a modern vibe here and there, but pure thrash metal. Very raw vocals, but not death metal vocals, not growl, guttural, almost like a Venom style vocals, shouted, but it works so well. Guitar solos are manic. The rhythm section is insane. There's just nothing I don't like about this album. Coming in at number 4 in my top list for 2016, ACCUSER, The Forlorn Divide, German thrash metal. Coming in at number 3. This is one I still need to get on vinyl, but I do have on CD. This is an Arizona via Pennsylvania technical, proggy thrash metal band, VEKTOR. This is their 3rd full-length album. This is Terminal Redux. Wow. I gotta admit, this album, when I first put it on, sounded strange to me. It didn't grab me by the jugular and immediately pull me in. But it called me back for more, and I kept wanting to listen to it. It's super, super technical. It's to me, it's like a mixture of Voivod and Corner. That's kind of the sound you're going to get here. Vocals are a black metalish variety, very strained, but they mix it up. There's even actually somewhat of a ballad on here with clean vocals. I saw this band live at a small club in Albuquerque, and wow, they played the whole album, and I just got it. It came alive to me after seeing it live, and I played it over and over again after seeing them live. And this one moved up from the middle of my list way up to number 3 in the list. VEKTOR, Terminal Redux, fantastic new wave of traditional thrash metal, although there's nothing really traditional about this. Like I said, very proggy, sci-fi, metal. Alright, these last 2 bands, number 2 and number 1, I wrestled back and forth as to which one should be number 1. Both of them are just some of the best albums that these bands have released. Both have been around since the 80s, and I think this is some of their best albums since the 80s. But coming in at number 2, Testament, Brotherhood of the Snake. Wow, this album just dominated my CD player after I picked it up. Just couldn't stop listening to it. The riffs there, I mean, honestly, I think this album compares to their first 3 classic albums. Some may disagree with me, but I think this is one of the best albums they've recorded in a long time. I like their last 2 albums they've done since their reunion, but this album trumps them both. It has the memorable hooks, musical hooks, hooky riffs, great guitar solos, memorable songwriting, memorable vocals. I mean, Chuck Billy sounds as good as he ever has here. This is a great record from Testament. This is one that I picked up on CD and immediately went and ordered the vinyl for it, which I'm still waiting for Amazon. But a great album nonetheless. This is Brotherhood of the Snake from Testament. Alright, coming in at number 1. One of my all-time favorite bands. But this is honestly one of the best albums they've released since 1990. This is Anthrax, For All Kings. Number 1 for No Life Till Metal in 2016. This album just has everything I like about Anthrax. It's got the riffs, it's got the songwriting, it's varied, it's not all fast. There's slower songs like this heavy riffing, and the slower song Blood Eagle Wings. And man, what a crazy video that song. If you haven't seen that video, watch it at least once. It's a bit disturbing, but man, it's a great video and a great song. Monster at the End, You Gotta Believe, For All Kings, Breathing Lightning. This album just has everything that I like about Anthrax on it. Joey Belladonna sounds fantastic. There's the actual cover without the slipcase on it. Great packaging, great riffing, great songwriting. Number 1 for 2016, Anthrax, For All Kings. So there you go. That was my top 30 for 2016. Hope you enjoyed it. A lot of stuff that could have made the list. I had a list of another 20 or more that could have made my list. There's a couple sitting... thought I put a couple sitting back here. But yeah, there's a couple of honorable mentions sitting right here. This is Sigmund Regis. Fantastic power metal album. Almost made my list. This is Destruction, Under Attack. Easily could have made my list. Great thrash metal from Germany. This is the Foghat, Under the Influence. Awesome hard rock, boogie rock from Foghat. And one that took me by surprise, a band that I wasn't all that aware of. This is Blues Pills. Another one that could have made my list. And that's just a partial. There were so many great albums this year. 2016 was a solid year for metal, even if it wasn't a great year for for me personally. But anyhow, that aside, I appreciate all you guys, all you watching my videos and commenting. 2016 was a great year in that respect. I'm almost up to 3,000 subscribers, and I really appreciate all you guys. So leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought of this video. Let me know what you thought of my list. Let me know what you thought I left out. There are a few that I hadn't picked up yet that I wish I would own, and those may be the reason they're not in the list. But this is some of the ones I own, some of the ones I love. So that's it. God bless. Stay strong. Definitely worthy of being in my top 10, which just tells you, oh my gosh.